What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fye and Eric Sheetshaber. We're going to be talking about today's four-game slate in MLB, and we also have the basketball game tonight, which is I'm stoked about. It's 150K for first in this one. So if you tie, maybe you can actually make. I had one lineup the other night that was tying for $50, so I must have done something wrong in my build.
Yeah, I think so.
It was tied for first. It was like the third quarter too of the game. I was like, there's something wrong here. I should not be tied for $50. There's like, I mean, what was it, like 7,000 people? Anyway, Sheets, anything from the baseball slate that sort of changed for you, or any thoughts you've had on ways, maybe to get different? Because I think we were both in agreement that the Yankees in Atlanta were the clear best options, or the most popular options as well, and trying to find things to get a little bit off that. So
yeah, I'm gonna end up probably doing some game stacks of the Met game, just
like
for just because. And as I half sarcastically said, I'm probably gonna play some Angels. That's gonna be my thing. We'll just see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, I'm playing some Angels as well, so I'm not hating that idea. I'm also playing Rodon in my other one, so it's kind of weird. But it's interesting. This I like the idea. The more I thought about it, it seems like Arizona would be like an interesting team to go after here, because you have a young, talented pitcher, but like the Mets bullpen has been garbage. The Mets team has been garbage.
It has, and it is. Yep.
I think that this could be a spot where you see a breakout game from Arizona, and the projection just hates them. I mean, they have a 3.5 run total in Vegas. Like, I don't really understand why some of these run totals are so low today, outside the Yankees and Braves. I also think the Nationals, very good option. I don't understand why their total is so low either. You have Kerr pitching, and look, again, there's going to be variance with these guys, these young guys. But he's 5,900. If they've got a 3.5 run total, why isn't Kerr like a super popular player? We're just worried about how long he'll go, I guess. Anyway, so I was just sort of thinking about that stuff and trying to figure out what I want to do eventually. And I have more basketball thoughts than I do baseball thoughts. But I thought Washington, I like the Angels idea. And then I thought that, getting to basically everything except for the Yankees and Braves as full stacks is basically what I'm going to do.
It's just a bad GPP slate. I mean, that's really the bottom line here.
Could you make an argument that it's a great GPP slate because you could just block out Atlanta and New York, and then?
Well, you can, but they're just probably going to get there. I mean, like
right.
But yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I'm also leaving some money on the table. Yeah, so I'll go through. My process was the same. I just ran it through SaberSim. I didn't make any changes. I actually got a little bit stingier with my stacks tonight. I actually tossed out, like 3-3-2s and stuff like that. I want to at least have 4-man stacks in my lineups. And that by doing that leaves money on the table usually. For reasons that I've described before, Also, just keep in mind that the Angels lineup is not out yet, nor the Yankees, and not going to be out right until the game's locks.
Yeah, it's definitely possible that it's not going to be out. We just know that from
that caused some traffic.
Yep, I definitely could. Yeah, so that's that's I guess the thing is the Yankees. Yeah, there's probably going to be differences in the lineup too. Like it's a Thursday, it's a getaway day, so you're going to see different lineups. I mean, we've already seen it with the lineups that have come out so far. I don't know what the Tigers are thinking. The Tigers thing, like, I just want to throw this out there. Like, I think Pivetta. This is like you couldn't give him a better matchup. I don't think he's ever faced this few lefties, and it's the wind blowing in slightly, not really much wind, but it's 59 degrees. I had the feeling of wanting to play Detroit, but then they didn't put Perez in the lineup, which I didn't really understand. But Pivetta is, I think, maybe getting a little bit overlooked based on the projected ownership that I'm looking at.
Okay.
And I think Flaherty I just would. I mean, if you think about it, just throw everything else out. Like Detroit versus Boston, you would just naturally think that Boston would make more sense. And the fact that Flaherty is the highest owned player, highest owned pitcher, I think that pivoting that over to Pivetta. And by the way, maybe even if you have some lineups, and this is one thing I might do, is just switch Pivetta to Flaherty to Pivetta, and literally not change anything else. Just leave that extra money on the table, and do that. I think that's just going to be, again, just little ways to get different on these slates is always a good idea.
Let's do a FanDuel SaberSim build process thing. I'm not playing on FanDuel, so I can just do this pretty easily. Okay. Just again, this is the way I look at it. Okay, first thing to look at is that there's one late game. So do I want to up projections from the late game? It's probably not. I don't even know who's playing there yet. So we're just going to keep it just the regular, projections here. So let's build. And again, I'm not going to mess with any of the settings. Let's pretend we're going to play 50 lineups. So play 50 lineups. And again, you don't have to do a pool size of 5,000 when you have 4 games. There aren't even that many combinations, I don't think. I mean, there are, but none that you really want some. So I'll make it 1,000. Not going to change anything with the minimum salary. My default is going to be their default, which is 20 max. And we could always juice that up. Like if you wanted to make it 150, you can make it 150. Let's make it 150 just for the hell of it. And nothing else here. We're not going to put any rules in, and we're just going to build, and then we're gonna screw around. Did you take a look at FanDuel all today? What should I be expecting?
I did not look at all at FanDuel, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So I'm not.
So we're gonna see, and what I like to see is the difference between what we get with the straight SaberSim build and what we get when we apply the sims. So first of all, when we just do the regular SaberSim builds, you would be getting 100% Arizona and 60% Mets, and that would be that. And as far as stack exposure, you'd be getting 4 3s and 4 4s, but only 66% of them. You'd be getting a lot of whatever. So if I were playing FanDuel, I don't think I would actually change the distribution. In other words, if I get 4 2s on FanDuel tonight, I think that's fine. So I wouldn't change anything there. So if you didn't have access to this contest sims, and you didn't feel like playing 100% Arizona or whatever, you could mess around either with, say, min uniques. And if you change the min uniques, I don't even know if that's going to make a difference. But you're still going to get 100% Arizona. So if you wanted, you could just manually, and this is what's cool about doing this, is you can manually cut Arizona. Let's say you only want to do 50%. You put that in, and then automatically takes from that 500 lineup pool and resorts them so that you now only have 50% of them. But let's not do that. Let's continue to allow 100%, and let's see what the sims will give us. So we didn't save any contests already, so we have to kind of just go with there. So let's put call it MME. So you could pick from any of these different fields of lineups to compare your lineups to. We'll stick with the flagship MME, and it already pre-fills all this stuff in: the contest size, percent to first, percent entries plays, use live sims available. We'll save the settings, and you'll see this turns green. When that turns green, that means there's something that you can run.
Right.
So we're going to run the contest sims and see. And I like to see the difference between what you get now and what you get when you apply the sims. It's weird because like Arizona and the Mets, I guess they show up as a really good projection somehow also. So let's just see what this is. Let's resort by MME, risk-adjusted ROI, and you get less Arizona and the Mets, but you're still getting Arizona as the Mets as your top stacks on FanDuel, followed by Angels, Atlanta, and Boston. I'm curious to see, by the way, how owned these Yankees and Atlantas actually are going to be. It's an interesting test because if other people are running sims and other people are doing this, maybe they're not as owned as I think they're going to be. So what I'm going to do tonight, just for the hell of it, you know how sometimes I compare, I do that thing with the tool where I compare ownership projected to actual. I do it for tennis, I do it for golf all the time. I'm going to do it for baseball tonight. For both, I can't do FanDuel actually, but I could do DraftKings. So I'm going to compare. I'm going to take a couple more ownership projections, and I'm going to compare the DraftKings ownership to to actual and see how close they are. That'll be something interesting to do tonight. So then again, like if you like this better, which you probably should, 100% Arizona seems a little extreme if you're going to play 50 lineups. Then this kind of spreads it out a little bit, and you can just do whatever. Now you look at stack exposure. Still, I don't know if I would have it in me to play a 4-0, or even a 3-3. I would want at least a 4-2, I think. So I would limit them to 4-4, 4-2, 4-3. That's probably a little bit more stringent than you would. You'd probably allow a little bit more.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would probably on this slate, I would actually consider canceling having no 4-man
like Xing out 4-4s or something.
And Xing out 5-mans on DraftKings.
And just so you guys know how to do that, by the way. I mean, like if you use SaberSim, like it's so easy. You literally, if you don't want any 4-4s, you take this check mark and you uncheck it, you hit apply, and it automatically, like, that's why you made 500 lineups, even though you want 50, so that it has that pool of lineups to automatically replace. Otherwise, like back in the old days with roto grinders, whatever, you run 50 lineups, and then if you wanted to make any change next time, you have to rerun them again. Here, that's why you get this big pool at the beginning, so that you can just kind of back into kind of what you need. And then that would be pretty much my advice there on what to do on FanDuel. That's just kind of the process. And again, like you were saying, like if you wanted to go back to DraftKings, which would be here, same thing. Like if you didn't want to play any 5-0s or whatever, you could just go back in here, team stacks, and just stack exposure, just X out whatever you want. It would automatically replace them. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, any questions in baseball? Any questions on any of that before we get into basketball?
Yeah, let us know if there is anything, because it is a pretty straightforward slate, I guess. I mean, I guess that's one way to put it. It's tiny. It's probably a good exercise, like in trying to figure out how to play these, small slates. But I think that you've done a good job, and I like the idea, like, 100%. When SaberSim tries to do that, when there's they try to give you like 90% of a team and there's 12 games out there, it would I'd be like, oh, I don't know if I want that much. But on this kind of a slate, I actually think like going all in on just any take is totally fine, as long as it's not stacking the Braves in Atlanta, because I don't see a huge gap between all the upside and everything of these teams. Arizona probably is the most talented other offense on the slate, and I think that's a very reasonable thing to play a whole bunch of them. D-Pope, just to let you know that Jack Flaherty is going to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate tonight. So just, I understand it's not I always say things like that when you're playing the most popular guy. It's not really like a take. It's just, okay, I'm just going to play this, you just play him then. I personally think there's enough, Flaherty was probably, he and Pivetta are the two that I would play on a full slate. Maybe I'd throw Rodon into one, like on an 8 or 12 game slate, but I don't think I'd be playing. I personally like the idea of getting away from Flaherty for tournaments. I just think it makes the most sense. And look, Jack Flaherty is very talented. He's always been very talented. He has been one of the most streaky pitchers over the years that we have in baseball. So I personally am okay with just taking a gamble and saying, okay, maybe today is not the day. And especially when you're in Boston and Fenway, it feels like it gives you a little bit extra idea. But yes, on the numbers, Flaherty does project the best. He's the highest K prop. Every single thing is lending itself to Flaherty. I just personally am going to try to avoid it, except for maybe in one single entry lineup. I'm also not pitching Scott, which makes me want to play Arizona. Scott makes sense, but just these are not I don't know. It just feels like I see the ownership, and it's hard for me to get my head off of, okay, Scott might end up being the second highest pitcher owned, and I like Arizona. So, I like Arizona, in the context of the slate. So, he's asking about Scott. How much Scott are you getting to in your build? Did you notice?
0? No, that's not true. I'm getting, like 20%. Why not? I mean,
yeah. See, that's about where I think makes sense. At 40%, I don't know about that. I just think look, Zach Gallen's the best pitcher on the slate. That's what I'll do, and then I'll use a combination of Pivetta. I will have the one single entry lineup with Flaherty, and then Rodon will be the other one for me. And then I might end up with one Christian Scott, I guess, because I don't have another guy. Okay, so should we talk a little NBA whenever you're ready?
Yeah, who's going to win, by the way?
I think that Minnesota – okay, here's my prediction. Either they get off to a terrible start and they make an incredible comeback, or Minnesota absolutely just wrecks them. That's more of my thought. I think Minnesota. This is the game where Minnesota wins by 30, which makes it an interesting. You can feel comfortable if you take that angle. You can feel comfortable leaving money on the table. You can feel comfortable doing a whole lot of things. Actually, you can feel comfortable playing all these bench. The Nikhil Alexander Walkers and Jaden Hardy and Josh Green. Dante Exum. I wouldn't go the one I'm not getting near, and I'm only throwing him in one lineup because of what he said. Tim Hardaway Jr. made a comment, and apparently it was before Game 4, but depending on where you look, it'll say before or after Game 4. Tim Hardaway Jr. actually said, God, he's like everybody on the team. At first it was an anonymous source, then it was leaked that it was him. Everybody on the team feels so excited every time Luka steps out of the game because we don't get to play at all when he's there. I think it's just Hardaway just being bitter. But I mean, he's lost his job to Jaden Hardy anyway. I think Jaden Hardy is the most under-projected player. I think his upside. So of course, with that, you don't need to captain the guy. I still think the raw points for Luka and Anthony Edwards are going to matter, so they'll make it in almost all my lineups. But I'm going to be on the captain side of Edwards, Reed, Cat. PJ Washington's might get different from Dallas one. And then Jaden Hardy, which I want to add more, even more of him. I want more Kyle Anderson captains. Kyle Anderson, by the way, is very much on the verge of being like an almost auto play for me tonight. Like they actually took Conley out of the game so they could run their offense with Kyle Anderson a little bit down the stretch in the tight game last time. I think that you might see more and more Anderson as things go on. So I'm going to disagree with MJ and say F the Mavs. I really hope they lose. It would be really annoying to have to watch him and Tatum to me play in the finals, but I'm planning for it. I'm not planning that Minnesota's necessarily going to win this series. Although between you and me, I got them at 35-1. I decided to place $100 on it before the Game 4. My buddy actually betted it for me. So I do have Minnesota at 35-1 to win the series, which they're now, I believe, 5-1 after Game 4.
Sounds pretty good.
What's that? Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
I have kind of a really.
What's your take?
Kind of off the wall captain, actually.
Who is
not
that?
Off the wall? Like I got to him anyway when I played him with Saberson, but it's like so like sneaky, but not really, and it's gonna be like Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I think so. My prediction is that Gobert, because of the projections, ends up being a lot more popular than anybody thinks.
You think so?
I think I think he'll be the fourth highest owned captain.
That's fair enough.
Probably one of he or Kyrie. He'll be right there with Kyrie in terms of ownership, I think.
What's it going to be? Luka, Edwards, Kyrie, and then him?
It'll be Luka, Edwards, somewhere between Cat, Gobert, and Kyrie will all be similar, is my guess.
Remember, it wasn't too long ago, like Rudy Gobert is being run out of town, right? And
in all fairness, I have to say, I think they would have won. I think they'd be up in the series if he was run out of town.
Well, no. I mean, no. Who said that he should be guarding Luke? I mean, Luke anyway.
No. Look, it's a coaching decision. They're playing drop coverage, and all they're doing. So all the Dallas has to do is just have their guards go one-on-one with Gobert, because Hardy beat the hell out of him last game. So did Kyrie the game before. And the problem is, it's not just that. It's just you can't have guys who aren't switchable on the court if you're gonna play at this level. That's what I've always had the issue with him. And also, they're about to have a major issue in the offseason because the amount of money he makes, no one in the world, no other team wants him because he makes $50 million a year. And he's a anyway. I've got a lot of.
But I will tell you, I found someone who's even a bigger complainer about the refs than Luka.
Who's that?
That's Mr. Donald Trump.
Let's go. Can I say that though?
You should. Did you hear his press conference?
Not yet. It's going to be nuts, though. I mean, I can't even believe
His
it.
comments outside the courtroom. I mean, like it's like so much worse than Luca. I mean, it's like crazy.
God, I'm gonna have to check that out. I just saw the good news and I was pumped up. I didn't get a chance to take a look at anything yet.
But like, I mean, you're supposed to either say nothing or just say we're disappointed with the result, and we'll fight and this. But it was like it was pretty. Even for him, it was pretty.
I have to watch it.
Pretty bad. Let's just put it that way.
I've gotten addiction to trash TV. So I'm doing my same thing. I'll just jump back into the things. I do look forward to that. I really think that this is like the spot where you want to be overweight Minnesota captains in general. And I think Kyle Anderson and on the flip side of that one, Jaden Hardy is the cheap on the other team as a cheap one. But I just think like it's must win. Minnesota's going to have, let's just say it is a blowout. Minnesota will have their guys out there a lot longer. The Dallas guys will just come off the court. They probably won't even play the fourth quarter if it's like 25 or 30 points. They really probably won't because they're going back home. Luka's already banged up. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout 100%. I'm just saying that is a very, very real possibility. And I don't think Dallas can go into Minnesota and just stomp them to where Minnesota, no matter what happens, Minnesota ain't rested anybody. Their guys are playing every minute they've got available. So this leads into a question that Deep Hope is asking. I'm leaning towards 4-2 stacks for Minnesota. That's what I'm getting because Luka's almost like an auto play. And then I would play 4-2s probably for Minnesota. I like doing the cheap one. I like a Luka Hardy, and then you get your four favorite Minnesota guys. Or I'm going to play a little bit of Kleba again. What's really interesting is all day long sites weren't projecting Kleba to play any minutes, and it was a huge mistake. And I was really hoping it would happen when it came time because I was going to just put him in the flex in every position, and almost not every position, a lot of lineups. But then they changed it. Now he has a projection. They were acting like because Lively's back, he won't play. People don't realize that Kleba is a part of this team. He plays no matter what, and he is. And I'll tell you what. There's something. I almost said something I really might sound stupid, but if Minnesota had him instead of Gobert right now, I think that anyway. I think they might be in better shape, and that sounds nuts.
Michael Harris. Okay, I didn't have him projected. Raker. So Sean Murphy, I had him in by mistake instead of somebody. Okay, so I had to change a couple of projections here. Breaker. Who else do I have here? Guriel is out, or is he in?
Guriel, I don't even know what.
Oh, for Arizona.
For Arizona?
Yeah, he's in, right?
He's in. Yeah, he's batting fifth.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem is.
I think I'm talking myself into this Arizona.
You know what? Stupid.
Yeah, I'm looking at my top owned players and for what it's worth in the NBA, and 7 of my top 9 are Minnesota.
I sure want to.
And I'm not playing very much, although I do have a little bit of them just in case, but not playing very much Kyrie. Yeah, that's the main one, I guess. I did get to Lively and Gafford, splitting those guys up a little bit with Washington. Basically, usually have one of those guys, not all of them, but some have them. Power, I feel you with the Pavetta. I'm playing Pavetta, so I can't say anything because look, Pavetta, we all know he's always been an elite pitcher against right-handed pitching. You throw a lineup with 3 lefties against him. I don't know how we can just ignore it on a 4-gamer. Yankee lineup: Volpe, Soto, Judge, Stanton, Verdugo, LeMahieu, Glaber, Trevino, Cabrera. So LeMahieu probably is going to end up the highest owned player on the slate, just for what it's worth.
You think so?
Based on that, because he's cheap, and he was already projecting that when they had him planned to bat 8th, or at least that the projections did. Now I think he's going to end up the most popular player. I had him bat 9th, and he was still projected to be the most owned player. Man, these projected ownerships are hilarious. They're all New York, Atlanta by so much, and then comes the Washington. Yeah, really not a lot of love for the Arizona. I think that's the thing to do. So that's what I'm going to do.
4. So you got to get rid of him.
I was watching this one thing where they were talking about how the golfers are getting a little bit too good because every time we
Not my golfers.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, where are those guys in my lineups? But but the golfers are getting too good for these courses because like every time they just, it ends up being like a 20 under. I mean, we had it at 21 under for a major, that's like ridiculous. To have the 2 best scores in history of any major at the same event. And it's just happening every week, but I think they're going to have to so they tried to get creative with the pin placements here and it just did not work. It's probably going to end up being another 20-ish under, but anyway,
my golfers are not getting 20 under. Can I tell you that?
You don't have any Sam Burns? I have a little Sam Burns.
Yeah, a little, whatever.
Yeah, I don't have it. It wasn't. I was much more on your play, and I liked it too of the Cam Young.
Sahith can't do anything.
Yeah, I did not play. He was my big fade, so I was happy about that one. But let's see. You got I'm looking at see who else is doing anything for me. Joel Dahman, a full 12% of Joel Dahman at 3 under, which is nice. And all these Canadians were horrible. What happened?
Who's the top one? Like Mike Weir, right? I mean,
Mike Weir is the top one, I think.
Yeah.
That's wild. I actually played Mike Weir at like 3% just for fun.
Did you?
3%. I literally went out of my way, and Saberson wasn't giving it to me, but I made sure to put him in there.
If he makes the cut, it'll be a miracle.
Well, he's probably going to make the cut.
I guess so. It's already.
Maybe. I don't know. Actually, that's probably too soon for me to say. What did he end up at actually? Because I mean, it was a miracle that he won the Masters.
Wait, I was almost kidding. Sahith was +4.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, I'm not going to make it in that one. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll just. What I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to search for just who I have. What lineups have Sam Burns in them? I guess.
Well, all the guys are there's 4 guys now, or 3 guys at 7 under. Now there's about to be a 4th.
Oh, I see Eric with a Cole. C. Cole has only 8 fantasy points. That can't be good.
That doesn't sound good. And I played a good amount of him too. Yeah, 4 over.
Burns. What is this? None of these guys look like they have a lot of fantasy points. Hey, look at this guy. Your Sammy Valimaki is under par.
Okay. There's
something. I just throw it out there.
Yeah. My winner still very much in contention to win.
Who do we have? Fleetwood?
Fleetwood.
He is.
I'm
looking at just the at the Burns lineups here. I have Cam Young. Dude, I got a couple with the Robert McIntyre -6.
That's pretty sweet. I did not get to I don't know what, like this guy every week. I feel like going into the weekend, he's one of the leaders.
Chan Kim +2. I think Rory's probably going to win though.
It always feels bad when you search for. Oh no, they only show you the top 500 of other people with the name, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Because I was looking at I'm like, why? How can I play, $150 and $5, and the only other guy named Bobby is in better play shape than I am in any other tournaments? But I think it's just
pretty funny.
Oh, I like that bet. Cam just threw out an interesting prop bet. I agree with you, Cam.
What?
Plus 540 for Rendifo is not a bad number. 540 is a pretty hefty number, and he does have like deceptive power, and he's been against lefties especially. I like that idea as a bet. I think that's one I could co-sign on. I would do that. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna finish my MLB builds and do exactly different. By the way, Joe Adele is like a freaking lock though. If you're not playing Rodon, probably
Lock City, USA.
He's gonna hit one out today. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I love that play. All right, let's see. We've got Arizona. Yeah, Arizona. We don't need this. And why not Arizona? Let's go. We need Jock.
So I may as well just go over what I have in the NBA for now. I should. I mean, the reason why, by the way, it's like 200 whatever for first place is there's gonna be like 1 billion people in it. You know, like
right.
I don't think you're supposed to try to get unique here. There's just so few combinations, and basketball's so tough. Just try to win, I guess. Yeah, I'm getting Luka, Towns, Gobert, just normal captains. I'm just like, here's some off the boards. I have like you said, a couple of Jaden Hardy captains, just for fun. I have like 1 out of 50 of Josh Green captains.
Mm-hmm.
A Jaden McDaniels in there, a Conley and Anderson, but it's mostly Doncic, Towns, and Gobert and Reed. I got some Reed too.
Yeah, I love the Reed one. That's my favorite.
Do I have Luka in every lineup? I think so. Let me just see. Just double check. No, I don't have him in every lineup, actually. I only have 80% of him. I'd love to know what those other lineups look like. Don't have him.
Well, it's probably the ones where he's in your captain because they don't show it like that, you know?
No, I got it. No, I'm adding them.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, the captain one, this is separate. So I'm looking at Saberson.
Yeah.
The Saberson mentioned. I'm getting 20, I have 22% him in the captain and 60% of him in the utility.
Oh, that's a little weird.
Yeah. Well, that's something then. I'm sure that it's some mixture of Towns and Kyrie, something like that.
Yeah.
Let me just see. Let's see what those.
Oh, I'm throwing Trevor Williams out there. That's the other thing I want to do today. It might be a little too thin for like the
Trevor Williams.
Yeah, like why against Atlanta can't we play him on a 4-game slate? That I forgot to mention. That's probably the easiest thing to do to get different.
Well, actually, this is not that bad. So there's 35,294 in this thing. Let me just see if I just screw in a little bit. 35,294. If I did a little geomean stuff and didn't take the most chalky of all of them. Let's do, if I did dupes 5, which is still hard. Let me see what I get. It's going to look really awful. So just to give you an example, like if I were going to do like the geomean filtering where I would only want to have lineups that rate to be duped, less than 5 times. In the captain, for example, I would be getting 16% Naz Reid, 12% Conley, 12% Green, 10%. I'd be getting one lineup with Luka in the captain. It's not the end of the world, though.
Right.
Because I'd still be getting all these guys in the utility. I just wouldn't be getting them in the captain.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, am I going to do this? I am. So yeah, I'm going to do it. Okay, get away with doing min uniques too. Also, no, probably not. Yeah, actually. Then my highest owned guy in the captain would be Naz Reid, but that's not the point. I'd be just pretty well spread out. All right, we'll try it.
Good luck to Hardaway playing tonight, Pope. I think that Hardaway makes like why are you playing? Like I would suggest, like I usually don't say game log watch, but if you're playing if you're playing Hardaway over Hardy, I honestly don't know what to do for you. Like I think I might have that in one out of. I mean, Hardy's in like most of my lineups. I just.
The only thing I would say is that they did lose their last game.
Yeah, but Hardaway has not even been on the court.
Yeah.
like he hasn't played in the last 2 games, and that was at home. Like that's really weird. So I don't think on the road they're going to try to bust him out. And Hardy's been good. Hardy, since they moved Hardy to that role, that was this series when they did it.
Yeah.
And Hardy's actually been like awesome for them. So I personally can't do the Hardaway over Hardy thing. But actually that's not true. I have it in one lineup out of 50 or something like that. Hardy's just getting that solid. Boy, he had 13 real life points in 12 minutes in the last game.
That's pretty good.
But also, even if it's a blowout, it's not like Hardaway. Like Hardaway's always one that's he's like a strange guy. Like he's a strange. He doesn't like.
Yeah.
You always just bet on him getting hot, but it's not like he's like a creator. Like if Luka and Kyrie are out, Hardy's the creator, not Hardaway. And it was always that way, even when Hardy was not getting real minutes.
All right, I guess I'm going to get out of here. Good luck, everybody, tonight, and see you near the top of the leaderboard.
All right, buddy. Good luck to you. Have a good one, everybody.